From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. With the holidays bearing down, Canada Post workers have gone on strike.
The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says its members went on strike as of 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time Friday, with approximately 55,000 workers now on the picket lines. The union and Canada Post have been negotiating a new deal for around a year, with the union saying little progress has been made. The CUPW issued a 72-hour strike notice earlier in the week, saying it's been asking for fair wages, safer working conditions, and other improvements during bargaining discussions. A statement from Canada Post notes that the strike will mean customers will experience delays in getting their mail or parcels. David Bowles, The Canadian Press.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in Peru today, taking part in the latest summit of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Group. Asia-Pacific Foundation Vice President Vina Najibullah says the APEC gathering comes as U.S. President-elect Donald Trump threatens to pull America out of international groups that Canada relies on.
As things are shifting, there's a lot of anxiety, and we need to be at the table in kind of reshaping the international trade order and reshaping international economic order, because essentially, our prosperity depends on this.
She says countries might come up with some united policies to help counteract Trump's promised tariffs and protectionist measures. Ottawa is putting up $3.5 million in grant funding for small business owners in the fire-ravaged resort town of Jasper, Alberta. Employment Minister Randy Boissonnault says the funding will help over 300 local businesses make it through the winter season and recover from last July's devastating wildfire. One restaurant owner says the extra cash should help keep people out of debt during the slower tourism days. Speaking of natural disasters, Tropical Storm Sarah has made landfall in northern Honduras. The big weather system is threatening to dump torrential rains across parts of Central America and southern Mexico. Officials are cautioning that such heavy rain could lead to life-threatening flooding and landslides. And finally, the stolen portrait of Winston Churchill that was swapped with a fake during the pandemic and sold overseas is finally coming home. As Canadian Press reporter Kyle Dugan explains, it is something straight out of a heist film.
An Italian art collector had purchased this painting for something like $10,000 at an auction, not knowing that it was stolen, and then took it home. And 5 months later, he learns it was actually lifted by a thief. So he learns it was stolen, in fact, and decides to turn it over. So this story has so many dimensions to it.
Renowned photographer Josef Karch snapped the iconic portrait back in 1941 in the Speaker's office on Parliament Hill, just after Churchill delivered a rousing wartime address to Canadian lawmakers. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Connor McDavid reached the 1,000 career points mark as the Edmonton Oilers won their third straight contest with a 3-2 overtime victory over the Nashville Predators. McDavid is now the fourth fastest player in NHL history to hit that milestone, behind Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Mike Bossy. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Flyers edged past the Ottawa Senators 5-4 in overtime. The Minnesota Wild blanked the Montreal Canadiens 3-0. The New York Islanders dispatched the Vancouver Canucks 5-2, and the Tampa Bay Lightning stopped Winnipeg's 7-game win streak with a 4-1 victory over the Jets. The CFL handing out some hardware as well. Running back Brady Oliveira of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers was named the league's top Canadian for a second straight year. He was also named Outstanding Player. Edmonton Elks linebacker Nick Anderson was named top rookie. And Jason Moss of the Montreal Alouettes captured the Anis Stukas Trophy as the CFL's Coach of the Year. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.